homesteaders, gardeners, and cooks. My name is Jennifer. Welcome to Miles Away Farm. If you're new here, thanks for joining me in my little side perennial garden. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. I am resetting my strawberry GreenStalk planter and also installing this spinner. I had a different bottom on this thing where the wheels locked and you had to unlock them every time you turned it, and it was really annoying and wasn't what I needed, and I should have ordered this one. And I ordered this in the fall, and it's been in a box sitting on my porch for about 5 months, and I'm finally getting around to putting it in, so this feels really good. When the fall comes along, I like to take my GreenStalk completely apart and put all of the individual tiers on the ground, and then I have a tarp that I can throw over the top of everything if I need to, if it's going to be really cold, which adds a little bit more protection. I have 2 different varieties of everbearing strawberries in this. One of them is Hoai and one of them is Seascape, and they're pretty cold tolerant, and so they do pretty well. But we got down to -12 over the winter, and if everything is vertical, that cold is going to just reach to the very center of these pots, and there's a good chance you're going to kill off your strawberry plants. And so I like to keep them close to the ground, where the ground is going to give them a little bit more insulation. And then if you get some snow, that snow is also going to provide you with some insulation, and so it helps protect those roots when they're in a pot from getting completely destroyed by the cold. And so it's always a challenge to put everything back together again. And the bottom 2 tiers of this, I think they were intact, like all of the different pockets still had strawberries in them. And then as I go up, I had lost a few strawberries, and I had the chickens get into this when I didn't have a piece of chicken wire over it, and they killed some of the strawberries by just scratching them out. I'm adding some all-purpose fertilizer here, and this is an all-purpose fertilizer that I mix myself. It's a mix of feather meal and bone meal and some other things, and I will put a link to a blog post that I have on how to make this yourself. It's a nice little DIY. And then these are strawberries. There were runners on this tower in the fall, and so I cut the runners off and just put those individual plants into a flat and kind of kept those protected over the winter. They lived part of the winter in my greenhouse, and then when it got really cold, I just put them in my garage where I knew it wasn't going to be below freezing. And they were essentially dormant, but it gave them a chance to grow some roots and overwinter, because I knew there was a chance that I would have some holes in this planter. It wasn't completely full going into the fall. I had some flowers and other things in part of this, and so it's really nice to have these seedlings that I can just fill in the holes. This little dog off to the side here belongs to my father-in-law, and he's currently having some health issues, and so we're taking care of this dog. Her name is Lily, and she is 14, 15, so she's pretty old, but she's having a really good time tottering around on the farm and getting some good sunshine. These little watering things that go in between, you want to make sure that you clean those out really well at the beginning of the year, and that all those little holes that are in there are actually clear. They're very small, and it's very easy for them to plug up. And if they plug up, you'll have a section that isn't getting water. What I always forget to do here when I'm putting this back together is actually have the holes centered on where the plant pocket is. I just randomly throw them on there. It works, but it helps if you actually center them where the plant pocket is, so that the water is going directly into that plant and not just kind of all over the place. But I always forget about that. So I did give everything a really good rinse, knocked any spiders off, knocked any dirt out of the holes. And then here I am, as I'm working up, I'm coming in with more of the younger seedlings here, but getting it all put back together. This is a 7-tier leaf planter. So the original is a 5-tier, and the pockets are deeper. This one, the pockets are not quite as deep, and it's 7-tier instead of 5. I have plenty of garden space. I don't need to grow tomatoes in this, or peppers, or any really deep-rooted plants. And so I just went ahead and got the leaf planter instead. This is the very top, and again, you want to make sure that these holes are clear. And you can see it's dripping because I rinsed everything off really well. And getting that centered on the very top. The blue tape that you see on the sides of these were marking the seascape strawberries, and then anything that doesn't have the blue tape is the Hoai. So it was originally keeping track of the two different varieties. And then I'm just going to give everything a good bath. This soil wasn't completely dry, but it had been, sitting out all winter, and so it needs a good soaking. And then there's just spider webs and dirt and mud from it sitting on the ground and various other things all over this thing. So I'm breaking off the dried leaves from the strawberries and just giving everything a good bath, and also watering in that fertilizer because it's pretty powdery. It's an organic fertilizer blend, and it's going to be fairly slow release, but I do want to make sure that each individual pocket got watered in before I water it from the top, just to wash the fertilizer off the leaves and things. You want to water these until water is coming out this pipe at the bottom, and then you know that everything has gotten a good soak. And you can see the water dripping into the individual tiers, and that is what you want to see. That means that all of our little holes are open. Let's go look at the GreenStalk now that things have settled a bit. And I really should have re-leveled this. This cement pad that this is sitting on is super heavy. And I was by myself. My husband was off working on some other projects and he wasn't home. And so I didn't have him here to help me. And so you can see, depending on the angle, you can see this is a little bit of Leaning Tower of Pisa. Ideally, this really should be as level as possible because it helps the water actually go through it in an equal way. But it is what it is. It's not going to be the end of the world. I did go through and clean off most of the old leaves, and this is just going to be so much easier to be able to spin this a little bit every day and not have to undo and redo the feet, which is what I was doing before. They were on locks and I had to unlock them and relock them. The Seascape almost puts out 0 runners, and the other one is a little bit more a runner, and so that was how I was able to fill in all of the holes, was from the runners from that other variety. So yeah, excited to have the GreenStalk up and running again and well watered in and fertilized. And we will be excited for strawberry season coming soon. Thanks for watching, Tribe. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment, and share. I have new content coming out every week.